Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we read chapter one is Yojana. How do we align our body, mind, and heart? And we are in the chapter two Sambandha. We talk about you know our chain around the neck, meditating on the meaning of the mantra, real name versus shadow name, and our last relationship. And I think yesterday we read about the last in the name. So being alone, but in the best of company. The three examples: the sadhu in the mountains, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura sitting in the garden chair, and Srila Prabhupada's instruction to chant like calling mother, all depict this principle of chanting in awareness of our relationship with Krishna. Being alone, but in the best of company. Many devotees arriving at this awareness have experienced a substantial transformation. Once we learn to chant with this higher connection, we can bring a little fragrance from that Krishna conscious world into the material world and our relationships here. It is akin to a noble lady who returns from a perfumery and arrests everyone's attention with fragrance she carried from there. Bring the scent of Krishna to this world. If you turn to other relationships first, keep ignoring your most important friend, you won't actually be a true friend to anyone. Your friendship will be only skin deep, a product of your superficial persona in this world. Friendships among masked people on the basis of their disguise lack the depth that satisfies the self. The real need of the soul is always to find that one relationship, convinced by the experience. In order to chant with that higher connection, you may need to experiment and see what works best for you. One simple suggestion to create sambandha: sit before your deities or picture them in your mind when you chant. Look at them with understanding that you belong to them. No need to make a big mental effort. Just sit and chant before them, focus, and see what happens. If you do this and connect, you will experience a distinct improvement that starkly contrasts to when your mind is set to its default mode and goes all over the place. It is a it is as different as grasping at the shadow of a meal versus eating an actual delicious meal. Srila Prabhupada writes in this connection, the need of a spirit soul is that he wants to get out of the limited sphere of material bondage and fulfill his desire for complete freedom. That complete freedom is achieved when he meets the complete spirit, the personality of Godhead. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.8. The seed of Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave an apt analogy for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. He said the devotee should become a gardener who takes a seed, places it into fertile ground, and then waters it so that it can grow into a beautiful flower bearing creeper. Over the time, creeper will grow so tall that ultimately it pierces the layers of this material world, reaches up to the divine abode of Goloka Vrindavana, and coils itself around Krishna's soft lotus feet of eternal shelter. In this analogy, the seed of bhakti is like a chickpea with two distinct sides. One, knowledge of Bhagavan, Atma and Maya, Sambandha Jnana. And the second one, knowledge of process of Bhakti Yoga, Abhidheya Jnana. The seed must be planted in the Antakaran or inner self, also known as the mind or subtle body, which has four levels. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. Mana is the reactive mind. Buddhi is the reflective mind, Chitta, the subconscious mind, Ahankara, the feeling of identity. The seed must be sown deep inside so that you internalize who Krishna is, what Atma is, what Maya is. You need to understand I'm not this, I'm not the body, I am the soul. The seed of bhakti must be planted so deep in your understanding that it reaches even the unconscious level. Then no storm can wither or destroy it. You will be fixed in the midst of every difficulty, but if you don't place the seed deep enough, then you may lose it, or the birds of material desire will devour it. And remember, the mind is meant to be your servant. You are supposed to use your mind, not allow your mind to use you. All too often, our mind tells us what to do. The instrument has made an instrument of us. This is scandal. Therefore, plant the seed of bhakti deep in your mana, buddhi, chitta, and into your ahankara. Guard it closely, nurture it deep within you, and remain mindful of it. Let it strengthen you, become part of you, then you can truly chant. Otherwise, your practice will remain an imitation of bhakti, which only reminds you of the real thing and nothing more. Just as the shadow of an apple reminds you of an apple but cannot nourish you. I think we can stop here. So, so first we talk about being alone, but in the best of the company. So yesterday we read nice examples. Sadhu uh, was sitting on a rock, and he chants with the connection, or chants with the relationship, with deeply. And the second example, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur was sitting in the garden, and chanting loudly. Everybody can hear that, he's chanting to some, with some deep connection or relationship. And then Srila Prabhupada instructs us, chant like a child calling for its mother. So all depict the principle of chanting of in the awareness of relationship with Krishna. So it's like a best, being alone, but best of the company. And once we learn this chanting with higher connection, it is like bringing a little fragrance from Krishna conscious into the material world, and that is our relationship. And and also our real need of the soul is to find a one relationship, that relationship with our eternal relationship with Krishna, nothing else other than that. And then convinced by the experience, how we create a sambandha. One example is, sit before deities or picture them in the mind, and that's how we can chant and have that relationship. And we can look at them, understanding that we belong to them, and that's how we can make a connection. And by doing this, our mind is really connect with Krishna, and our focus on the chanting will improve. And then the in the last topic is the seed of Krishna consciousness. you know it's just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave an analogy, how do we cultivate the Krishna consciousness. you know Said that a devotee should become a gardener who takes a seed, plants into the, place into the fertile ground, and then waters it and make it a beautiful flower, bearing creeper of bhakti. And here it says there are two distinct sides in knowledge of bhakti, samandha jnana, videya jnana, and this we have to see, plant this seed in the antakarana. And it's antakarana has four levels, mind, buddhi, and chitta, and ahankara. And we have to plant this seed of bhakti so deep that it reaches on our unconscious level, and we have to plant this seed of bhakti deep into mana, buddhi, chitta, and in the ahankara, and we have to guard it closely and nurture it. Smile is so strong, so we have to guard it closely, not to have any other thoughts, and something comes in between our relationship with Krishna. And that's how we can try to improve our chanting and have a relationship connection with Krishna. That is the only revelation